Hello everybody, it is Mike Levin on Monday, May 23rd, 2022 at 8 p.m. Just ran an errand on my way back, and I did one of the things I've been very remiss to do over the years and in general. I am a few tools, use them many ways kind of person. It's one of the reasons I'm so drawn to Linux, which is based on Unix, which is based on that concept. There's not a lot of commands like CD and ls, but boy are there a lot of command line arguments, and boy can you use them a lot of ways and string them up together into different programs, right? So as much as I talk about hating Docker compared to LXD because of the whole idea of compositing things, cascading style sheets, when done well, it can be a thing of beauty. And Unix as an operating system had done that kind of compositing well. One would argue it's the main cornerstone of Unix. Everything's a file, and commands move data around. So commands send data to commands, from one file to another file, and with that simple premise that transforms and processes happen along the way, everything can be a script file, and a handful of little command line argument commands, switchblades, Swiss Army knives that you string up together, and it's just a wonderful vibe, if you will. So Dennis Ritchie and Ken Thompson, when creating Unix, instilled in it a mental model, a modus of operandi, a vibe that just is speaks to people like me. So in that very same spirit, I don't use a lot of different hardware. I pick one laptop and I use the heck out of it. I had a conversation with one of the YouTube viewers. I gotta remember everyone's name, Open Systems or something. I'll get everyone's name down. If you chat to me, I owe it to you to really know who you are, because I don't really chat with a lot of people online. And when I do, it's a wonderful experience. So, we were talking about how, me not using a dedicated Linux laptop. One would think I would. One would think I would be of that, cut of people who, out of purity reasons, the very same reasons I curse Microsoft, I wouldn't be using Microsoft software. But that couldn't be further from the truth, because likey, the power of the mainstream. And because I like the power of the mainstream, I like being on, right now, Microsoft laptops using the Windows subsystem for Linux. It's fewer commands, fewer pieces of hardware, with a lot more command line arguments and parameters. I can run Windows stuff on the Windows side and never have a driver problem. Everything works. Or I can run Linux stuff on the Linux side and have the power of piping and Unixy-like stuff. And the integration is very nice, very nice. There's some stuff that still needs to be worked out. The file systems are not made equal, and the mapping of the capabilities between the two file systems, that with like chmod, as one of my YouTube viewers pointed out, is not solid, because there are flags and bits, file bits that can be set on the Linux side because of the Linux file systems that don't have the equivalent on the Windows side, and it can be a source of some problems. However, I use one laptop. I brought another laptop into the picture because I can't bring myself to upgrade my main work machine to Windows 11. Not yet. Oh my God, maybe soon. And this experience of, requisitioning, it's not a requisite, what am I doing? I'm recommissioning an old laptop, a model that was far more expensive than the model I'm on right now, and far more fragile and far more weird and quirky. The Microsoft Portfolio, Surface Book Portfolio, was a beautiful design. Instead of a clamshell design, it closed solid like a laptop. It had these two straight lines and then a curved line around the middle and a little bit of opening it left in the middle, but it was really nice because of the shape. It spoke to the purist, it spoke to the design snob, and the keyboard dandy, because Microsoft started doing really nice low profile keyboards, better in my opinion than Apple's. Apple went through that nearly membrane keyboard phase that completely turned me off of their hardware for a little while, with the little LED displays on it too. Like, double whammy, yuck. And it's such a shame too, from a company that does such great hardware builds, who set the standards for laptop hardware builds with the MacBook Air. Let there be no misunderstanding. Apple shapes the industry. Shaped, past tense, because the design innovations seem to be coming from Microsoft. Everything that they put into the Surface, the Microsoft Surface, when put into a laptop, instead makes for one spanking good laptop. Let me tell you, especially on the low end. And especially when the low end is still Intel processor hardware. You got no driver problems. All your Bluetooth is connecting when you're still on Intel. And, it's, every pip install is going to work. You're not going to have wheels problems with the 64-bit. There's a whole world of ecosystem stuff that has to fall into place with such a major hardware architecture change. It's not quite as magical as they would have you think, and where it is that magical, it's a little bit less magical because performance, right? Everyone is so gaga over Apple's 64-bit ARM stuff being so high performance. Well, you know why? Because Microsoft beat them to the punch. Microsoft was on ARM 64 long before Apple was. With a Surface X or something, I don't know. And they were doing it just like Apple did, with these translation, universal layers that made you not even have to think about it. Everything, first step, make everything just work. Second step, okay, now we'll think about optimization. So Microsoft took that first step with ARM 64, just make it all work. Because they learned their lesson from the 64-bit RT, Windows RT that came before it. It was completely unacceptable when it was, a low-power ARM architecture, but it didn't have software compatibility. It's already sucky that it has to be Windows, but now it has to be a substandard Windows that doesn't run anything for Windows. So they learned their lesson from Windows RT. It was really terrible. And they made just normal Windows work on ARM 64, like the way Apple made just normal Mac software work on Intel hardware when they made the switch from PowerPC to Intel hardware. But Apple seems to be better at optimizing. Apple is better at performance. Of course, they control all the hardware. It's just Apple hardware. Everything's under their control directly. Microsoft has to support all this stuff. And so Microsoft stuff is less optimized. The 64-bit ARM ran poorly compared to Apple's 64-bit stuff, 64-bit ARM stuff, right? So Apple gets the great reputation, Microsoft gets the poor reputation, but Microsoft was there first. What am I saying? So if you just stick to Intel, that criticism can't be leveled against it. The $800 Surface laptops are just awesome. Mine's over a year old now, and I don't feel the urge to upgrade, and don't think I will for another 2 or maybe 3 years. But the portfolio model hardly lasted 2 years. It's just more fragile, more moving parts, weirder. You only had the NVIDIA in certain conditions, so streaming was a challenge. When I moved to the cheap laptop, streaming just fell in place just like that. So things must have gotten better now, because when I recommissioned that old portfolio Surface, streaming became a lot better. It is a lot better now than it was back in the day when I was trying to do it. Improvements to OBS. Improvements to OBS, the open broadcasting system. Boy, this truck is following me closely. You can see my face lit up by its headlights shining right in my back window. These roads where the speed limit is like 25 or 30 miles per hour, these flatbed trucks. Okay, I've talked about the Nissan Altima drivers. I've talked about the fake Jeep drivers. Well, now let me lay it into the flatbed truck drivers. Only the big ones. The little flatbed trucks seem to be better drivers, but when you get a big flatbed truck, you pretty much are sure to have a jerk behind the wheels. Cars are projections of personalities. I drive a Jeep Wrangler, and I only occasionally wave to the other Jeep Wrangler freaks. I mean, I was an Amiga user, and now I'm a Jeep Wrangler driver. Oh my God, I'm a cult person. I think I'll do a full stop at the stop sign just to piss them off. I shouldn't do that. That's a bad thing. I'll do a rolling stop. I'm not going to make it look like I'm pissing them off. You don't need that in your life. I'm trying to be a better person. Trying to be a better person. It's not always easy being a better person. You really have to understand parts of yourself that you'd rather not think are true. I said some of these things before. I've got my narcissistic edge. I don't deny it. And other, what do they call them? When it's something that is a problem, a malady, I forget the name for it. I guess it's a Freudian block. I can't come up with a name for it because I don't really want to accuse myself of these things, because they're only problems when they make you non-functional. And so I've made my share of mistakes. My first marriage didn't work out, but I have the best kid in the world. Oh my God. And second marriage, I don't know. So far, so good. We'll see. They're interested in things like Vim and stuff. Can you believe it? To have a wife that... Anyway, I shouldn't talk like that because, then they get worried. I'm talking about them in the video, so I'll just keep my mouth shut. No, it's got to strike a right compromise. This is the better person sort of stuff. My stories are mine to tell. My stories are mine to tell. I am proud of the things in my life. Consequently, there's very little that needs to be spun or altered. However, one does want to respect the privacy of the other people in one's life. So what you do is you work in the abstract and do a lot of compliments. God bless everyone, but my stories are mine to tell. And when I want to learn better by teaching and find that there are audiences open to this magic next step I'm about to get to, it'll probably be tonight, I'm super pumped about it, to cast the magic spell, to do the incantation on a Windows 11 system by opening a command prompt, an old-fashioned command prompt. Sure, you can do PowerShell, but you open an old-fashioned command prompt and you say WSL space minus install. And then you have Linux, and then you can type Vim tutorial and start teaching someone Vim as if teaching a video game. Don't think about it as a text editor if it becomes too stressful or intimidating to even just quit. Think of it instead as a video game. Let me show you something interesting. Now this can be pulled up on almost any system. This is a timeless thing. This is your key path to future-proofing yourself, to making yourself resistant to obsolescence, to lessen the effect of disruption through change in the tech industry and tools and platforms. These are things that have been around for a half century in one form or another. Same muscle memory. Macros might have changed. Color syntaxing of your code might have changed. But you're talking about something that has the stick-to-itiveness of a half decade in tech. It's different. It's different than VS Code and the long list of editors that of editor corpse bodies I can list for you. And it's the single most important thing because it's where most of the muscle memory that you need to think, therefore to code, therefore to be literate, to animate machines, to breathe life into machines, to do your bidding, and therefore to be powerful in the modern age. WSL space minus install. All starts there. Life-changing. And I'm about to go live stream it. Thanks for joining me. Hope to see you again soon on this new laptop that I put into use for this very special task. And for this very special task, it is very much worth it. It's the reason I have this kooky, over-promising, under-delivering piece of Microsoft hardware that I had to go through to get to the cheap, wonderful stuff. Don't forget to thumbs up, subscribe, let people know you're in on this stuff early. Hopefully, I can make my little ding in the universe, and I think this is it. Linux, Python, Vim, and Git, rah, even for you. Not to be condescending, everyone thinks I'm being condescending. I honestly think a lot of people believe this is inaccessible to them in their life, that it's not, on the menu. It's on the menu. It's easier than ever. Windows 11, thanks to Uncle Bill, Uncle Microsoft, the whole works, those free and open source. Sorry, I don't remember your names, but the new people who took over, who know that devs are going to free and open source one way or the other, Microsoft might as well be the bandwagon. And so this is Microsoft being the bandwagon, and good implementation. They didn't do it poorly. This is worth it. After I'm done with this machine with the upgrade, I'll go back to my old cheap laptop and be on one laptop again and just bring this one out from time to time when I need a separate, maybe Windows 11 laptop for some reason, until I do my upgrade to Windows 11. And then, when I get the smooth left-right screen transitions and I can feel like I'm on the Amiga again, that's when I'll switch to Windows 11. Thanks for joining me. Hope to see you again soon. And don't forget to subscribe.